the most scariest part of entrepreneurship, and it's that part that is unspoken and not talked about unless you've been there, and that's that middle ground between your business doing well, exponential growth, and then scaling being on the other side. It's like the money's in the bank, the business model is working, you got your staff, everybody's cool, things are flowing, but you got to make a major move in order to scale the business to the next level. That's a scary space to be in because you've gotten past the risk, you've gotten past, you know, the hole, you feel the holes, the financial holes, and you like, I really like how this money is looking at my bank account, but I have to take a chunk of it in order to scale the business, and it's literally like starting all over. That's the scariest place for a business owner to be, and a lot of people do not talk about it. The customers do not understand it because it's going to take a price increase sometimes. Your employees don't understand it because it might take you having to let them go to bring somebody else in to do their
it
job.
Changes access to you sometimes.
Oh, it definitely changes
because
access to you.
Once upon a time, you
and
ran
then you're
your
acting
business.
brand new because now I can't. I'll say in my instance, for me, as a hairstylist, it was big. I can't come to everybody's baby shower no more. I can't come to everybody's birthday party. I can't be at the club. I can't do that because I am here, and another level of clientele is calling me, and I have to make these adjustments. And I really want to get over there because this has been my long time goal, and I love y'all, but this change has to be made. So yeah, I am going to have to act a little brand new to scale. I am going to have to ditch a little bit of the old me. I am going to have to I'm going to have to act a little different.
Yeah.
And you either can come or you can't, but they don't understand how mentally taxing,
yes,
how grieving it is, how much grief there is, because you have to grieve an old version of you that you were accustomed to get to this other side. You didn't even know you was going to have to change like this. It's so many layers of grief, loss, depression.
You sacrifice a lot more.
And it's anxiety because it's fear that if I take this risk because this is good right here as it's been, I've gotten it here.
What if it doesn't work? Yep.
And nobody really understands that unless it's another business owner, a business bestie, a friend that's been through that process, or a mentor. But it's a lonely space to be in.
It is.
And people don't talk about that. I know I've never shared about it unless I've talked to somebody else. I'm talking to you about it because I know.
Yeah, and I'm in that space. I'm currently in that space again.
And it's hard.
I'm in I told Terry, I said, I'm on the trampoline. I said I'm pivoting to the next, and I haven't outwardly shared what I'm doing. I said, but people have been, if they knows there's been a transition. It went from just tax prep, just even in my practice, how it's evolved. We just did taxes at first. That was it. Now I know that my expertise and my skill set surpassed that. I knew that, but I had to do what I knew worked. So now that we're here, what's next for me? Because there still has to be some sort of fulfillment for the entrepreneur. Because if you're not fulfilled, it doesn't matter.
It don't even matter.
And so I know that as I grow too, the cool thing is that as I grow, and I will attribute a lot of it to COVID, but like the growth of African Americans in business specifically has allowed me to be able to pivot and to see growth, because the skills and the things that I know that were just laying dormant that I could have maybe only shared if I went and worked for a firm that wouldn't value or appreciate me or just treat me like another number in a robot, I'm actually able to take that, share that with people that I know they're not accustomed to it, but I know that it's going to help them, and I can actually see the growth, I can see the results, I can see how it's changing the dynamic of their lives. And so with that, it's like, okay. But then again, it's like, oh, I'm scared because you couldn't have told me 5 years ago that I would have the tax planning and strategy clientele I had. For me, that was like a wow. It really did. And now I have a book of business that is just strictly tax planning and strategy clients, and it's working and it's growing. So it's like, okay, I can do this, but you have to take that leap I think you said confidence. We spoke on confidence earlier.
But
It
people
does.
don't understand too. Before you gain the confidence, it's a level of, like I said, it's old layer of yourself that you got used to. And people also don't understand too is in that middle space. While people are saying you think you're all that, you're acting brand new, you're struggling because you're really trying to not self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Because you really got pulled with
Yes.
that version of you, that layer. You didn't because the layer of you that showed up to get that growth before you have to scale. You had already shed a whole lot of you already, so you was like, I'm good, like I'm finally arrived, and it's like, no, baby, it's a whole nother you that's coming, and you're like, what? I thought I was good right here. I thought I succeeded. Like, and it's like it's scary, and you have to be careful because your comfort zone can cause you to self-sabotage, and you don't even know it.
And that comfort zone could come in the form of friends. It could come in the form of families, romantic relationships. Because if they don't have a full understanding of what it is, they'll take it personal that you're really, I'm going to say, in all honesty, all my goals encompassed all my friends growing up, my family. When I grow up, I'm going to do this. And there was never a day that I didn't think, I'm going to try to get here so that I can improve the lives of the people I love. In that process, in going and growing, they didn't see it that way. They're like, oh, Cheryl's changed. She doesn't come, like you said, she doesn't come around. We don't see her. Oh, it's just something about her I don't like anymore. And the better I perceived myself and the way I looked at myself, and when I looked in the mirror and was like, I am becoming who I knew I could be. On the back end, they're like, I don't like you. Yeah. That is hard to deal with. Yeah. And I had dealt with it full force. And you probably like, I don't know if I like her either, but I'm still going forward with it. But then I'm still the same person on the inside. I'm like, no, I have there's things bigger than me. Yeah. And so when the client calls me and they're crying and they need tax help, I know that it's bigger than me. I have answers. Yeah. I can solve their situation. I can change the trajectory of their life. I can keep them from not being homeless and the IRS coming to take their house or take their vehicle or shut down their business. I have the ability to help people do this thing. So do I help them do this, or do I just say, hey, we're friends and I'm just gonna not walk in my purpose because we're friends? No, it's a calling. I tell people that all the time. If you're doing entrepreneurship correctly, it is a calling on your life. It's an assignment. You have people specifically assigned to you, and you are a part of their destiny, their growth, whatever they're gonna become. And it's not for the weak. No. And I also tell people all the time, while consistency is what's necessary to build growth, there's a fine line between being consistent and becoming complacent. And sometimes we think that we're being consistent because that money is consistent, that payroll is consistent, we know how much we make, we know we need to do the slide over here to go here, we know we need to do the slide over here to, get our expenses, just whatever the case may be. But it's a fine line because it can become complacent. Again, when you're trying to go from growth to scaling. Yeah. That consistency can become complacency, and it becomes a new comfort zone. So you just gotta pay attention to the signs. And signs come in people. Like, don't ignore your opportunities when you get invited to a room, or if you're sitting and somewhere you just so happen to meet somebody and they're a banker, or they're like, I meet people all the time sitting by myself, and I'll be like, okay, that's a sign for me. If I'm sitting by myself and somebody's having a conversation with me, end up talking about a different level of wealth that I had no idea about, that's telling me where I'm headed and where I'm going. Even if I don't make the connection with that person, it's showing me I'm worthy of these conversations. I'm worthy of being this person. I'm worthy of these people. And so you gotta look at those little signs to let you know, this is the level that I'm worthy of, this is where I can go, and this is where I'm headed. It's really up to us to get out of that middle, that weird middle space, to decide if we're gonna just stay at the growth zone, or we're gonna go to the skill zone to get all of it, there is for the taking.
It's
I
tough.
totally agree.
It's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
But I love it.
I love it. And that's the weird part about it.
That's
It's
the
hard,
crazy
but
part.
you love it. But again, it's not for the weak. And you know,
I wouldn't change my journey in any of the ups and downs that I've had. I wouldn't change them. I literally, I know, and you know, I'm not religious. I won't say religious. I love God. And so that's where I'm gonna go with that, because he's bigger than religion. So I love God, but I know that he literally, like, there are times things will happen, and then I'll get the flashback to something that happened 18 years ago, and I said, that was it, and that's why you put me there. That's why I had to go through that, because you knew that today I was gonna need this. And it was the right place and the right time, and just like you said, everything. It's just crazy how it all comes together.
It blows my mind, because people will ask me, like, somebody asked me, did I always want to do hair? What did I want to be when I grew up? And I'm like, I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. When people ask me that question, I would be like, I don't know, and it was always different. But the fact that it was always different when I was a kid, it lines up with who I am, because I'm never doing the same thing. So essentially, I did kind of turn that. I turned it into something.
You wanted to do what made you.
I was a free. I wanted to do what made me happy. So I never, even when they would ask me, it was always something different. But it was what made me happy in the moment. I said, "Oh, I want to be a mortician." But I've done someone deceased's hair before. You know, I've said, I never was a doctor or lawyer kid. Oh, I want to be a background dancer in MC Hammer's video. Now that is not something
Hey, it's never too late. They got TikTok. You might come up with the latest TikTok.
But I say all that to say, like, I knew that I wanted to, like, be around people, and I knew that I didn't want to be confined to something. And so even though I didn't know exactly what it was, I never let nothing define me as a kid, and as an adult, I still don't let anything just define me. I'm me, and whatever God tells me this is what I'm doing, I'll be like, what? I'm doing what now? Okay, all right, I'm listening, and if everything falls into place. This is a great conversation.
It is.
You might need a podcast.
I got a lot to say.
You asked really good questions.
Oh, I just be sitting over there by myself in front of that computer all day,
You asked really good questions that